Hi there. I am Peter, or Monkey Hole on some parts of the internet, or Pothole Hotline on the music parts of the internet. So on YouTube and Twitter and Instagram and Bandcamp and SoundCloud. I'm Pothole Hotline. But I wanted to put together a video to create a patch from scratch to show you how I use my modular, because everybody uses theirs differently, and I like to kind of show off how quickly I can patch from nothing. And so I've got basically everything zeroed out here, except for I forgot to move my sliders back. Everything's kind of at nothing. I didn't tune my oscillators. I don't usually do that before I start, because sometimes it's fun to see how things work out, tuning things kind of differently. But yeah, just in general, I have a mixer here. This goes into another mixer, this old Yamaha mixer I have back here, that lets me insert effects. So I've got reverb hooked up that goes through that mixer, and then into my audio interface, and I usually record into Reaper. Reaper, because it's like super easy just to record a quick track and not mess with, too many settings or whatever. So, or like I'm doing now, I'm recording into Open Broadcaster software. Anyway, I think I'll get the camera a little bit closer and then show you how I start and how this all gets put together. There, so hopefully you can see a little bit closer what's going on with the modular now. Usually I just start, it depends on what I'm trying to do. Sometimes I just sit down and I want to play with something and see what kind of weird noises I can get out of it. Sometimes I'm trying to do something more specific, but I'm not going to do anything too weird in this video. I just kind of want to show you how I approach things if I just want to play and just want to get something out of it quick. And that usually starts with getting sound out of a module and seeing if I can find something I like. So I'm going to start with the Piston Honda here. So I'm going to try to name modules when I use them. I won't go into things I'm not going to use, but I'll make sure you know what I'm plugging into. So this is the Piston Honda. It's a wavetable oscillator. For those of you who aren't into synthesizers, oscillators are kind of the noise makers. They're the things that make a wave go fast enough that you can hear it. So I'm just going to plug this into my mixer over here. So this, like I said earlier, this is the Roland 531. It's just a mixer module that I plug that into. So we should get some noise out of this. And try to make it not too annoying here. But I can adjust the waves. This has a number of digital waves in it that I can adjust and combine in different ways. And so I think I'm going to make some bass out of this. So this is sounding pretty good. Like I can get a pretty nice tone out of that. So I've got a tone. So next thing is to make that into a tune from a tone. A tune from a tone. I'm going to be using the Variegate 8 and the Voltage Block by Maleko. I believe it's Maleko. I think that's how you say it. And the whole thing, I have to have timing. So I've got a clock, and the clock basically is the BPM, how fast the song going to go. So I need to clock. These things talk to each other through the power. So I can just clock one of them and the other one's going to start going. And then what I'm going to do is basically play this module with this one using these sliders. So this records my movements for each of these steps, and it's a step recorder. So I'm going to plug this into the CV here, and we're going to play this thing and see how it sounds. So I've already got, obviously, a little bit going into it. It's not really a bass line because it's going so high. Still got that one note, so sorry about that. So there we go. We've got a melody. Now, that melody is actually quantized to a scale right now, but sometimes I like to make sure I can quantize everything to the same scale. So I'm actually going to route that through this, which is an ADDAC. I don't remember it's a 207. So this is a quantizer. So what this does is it fits all the voltages coming from this into a scale. So rather than go straight into here, I'm going to plug that into here. And I'm going to go out of here into the CV there. So now if we listen to this, why am I not getting... Oops, put it in the wrong spot. So you can see that's a slightly different scale than the one that was going, or a slightly different tune than the one that was going straight in. So I can adjust the key this is in. So that's pretty nice, but I'm going to replay it and see if I can come up with something better. So that's pretty good. I like that. So that's all just playing constantly. Like I'm just moving these waves. I'm basically adjusting the pitch of this wave without any volume control to it. And it's also, I like to apply a filter to my bass line and get some more punchiness to it. So instead of going straight into the mixer, I'm going to go into it. So this is my Jove. It's System 80 Jove filter. This is meant to sound like some of the old Jupiter keyboards, which I really, really like the sound of. So I'm going to go into that, and I'm going to use the Variegate 8 to trigger envelopes. So everything in Modular is voltage, control voltage. And all this is going to do is send a spike to one of my envelope generators. Maybe I'll use maths to create an envelope that says get louder and then get quieter. And yeah, I think I'll use maths. So maths is, they call it a function generator, and it does all sorts of stuff. But right now I'm just going to use it. I'm going to ping it. I'm going to say start your envelope and then stop your envelope. Well, it'll just go until I let it go, but that doesn't make any sense. It will play until the envelope's done. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to plug this into the trigger on this and choose that channel. And right now, there's none of the envelopes are going. So you'll notice once I start the envelope, these lights will start going. So every start of the measure, that's going to go. And I'm just going to put in kind of a random sequence here. And then I'm going to use that, actually, I'm going to use that in two ways. I'm going to use it to trigger the filter and to trigger the volume of it. So I need to go from here into, actually, what am I doing? Into a VCA, so voltage controlled amplifier, and that's going to be the volume. So that's going to control how loud it is. Actually, I got to think about how I want to do this. Let's do the filter first and see what happens here. So I'm going to plug this into the CV on the filter. And I'm not going to worry about volume yet, actually. So go from the output of the filter back into the mixer. And let's see how that sounds. So I almost don't even need the volume envelope on that, and I might not do it because that sounds pretty good. So if we go back and if I just plug this straight into the mixer, you'll hear the difference. So there it is without the filter envelope on it. So you can see maths over here is going at a certain rate, and you can kind of see that green light going on and off. So rather than having it go straight in there, once again, I'm going to plug it into the filter. And that envelope is opening and closing that filter. So without the envelope, I can control it manually, which sounds pretty cool, but I want that to do it on a per note basis. So we'll plug that back in. All right, so there's a bass line, and at this point, usually I'm thinking, well, I want to hear what that sounds like with drums. So that's where the impact comes in. And it went to sleep, but I'm gonna wake it up. Like I said, that's clocked from over here, so I could hit play on it and it will keep the same rhythm or the same BPM as the synthesizer is. So I'll turn on the metronome on here, and then I can just play along and record it. That's not too bad. That is a very good beginning to a song. So while I'm recording it, I'm usually playing with the filters, or even adjusting the wavetable. Yeah, that's got a nice low end to it. So then. A song is more than just a bass line, so I probably want to do more with it. So I really like my two plats. These are Mutable Instruments plats. I bought two of them because I always did something with it and then wanted to be doing something else with it at the same time. So I bought another one. So let's make them do some stuff. And I'm going to go through the quantizer again so that everything stays in tune. Although, actually, before I do that, whoops, I'm gonna tune the oscillator to what's actually going on already. So put that in over here. And apologies, this will probably be really out of tune to start with. It's not too bad, but I'm gonna mess with it. So there we go. So that's in tune, and this thing has a whole bunch of different. This thing has a whole bunch of different modes to it, so I can flip through those. Kind of like that, just plain. All right, so. Now that I've got that going, let's make a tune out of it. So I'm once again going to go from the voltage block into the quantizer, and from the quantizer into the volt per octave of flats. So let's hear what happens when I try to play this, see if it sounds okay. So that's okay. One thing I like to do is if I kind of like a melody, I will put voltage block into pendulum mode so that it actually takes 8 bars because it's going and then coming back. So you can see it bounces back. And that just makes it a little more interesting. It takes longer for it. It doesn't sound so repetitive. So that's pretty nice. The next thing I usually do is that'll either end up being the main kind of tune, or I'll do something else that'll end up being the main tune. But either way, I'm going to want something else to kind of play off of it. So one of my favorite modules is Basimilis Iteritas Alter, which that module is a little different in that it's not playing a constant wave. It has kind of a built-in volume, a VCA, a voltage controlled amplifier. So it's gonna, when I hit it with a ping or a gate is what it's called from here, it's just going to hit once. It's not going to continuously play a wave. So I'm going to start triggering that with this, with my Varigate 8. So I'm just going to set a whole new set of rhythms here. And I'm going to keep it kind of simple. And then one of the nice things I like to do with this is, it's probably not in tune, so I'll have to do that in a second. I really like running that through a delay effect. So this is my Make Noise Echophone, which is a really neat delay. The Rainmaker is another neat delay, but it's really complicated, and I really only use it if I want to feature it. Right now, that would be too much to go through. So I'm going to go through the Echophone. So we're going to go from the out of this into here. But I'm actually going to turn down the delay on it so I can hear the tune that I'm playing on this thing. So we're going to go into the mixer with that. So I had it set as a kick drum. I'll probably push it up an octave. Which, that's nice. But once again, I want to make a melody. So I'm going to go out of the voltage block again, into the quantizer. You might be seeing a pattern here. And from the quantizer into the volt per octave pitch of the Bassimilus. Apparently I already had something on that channel. I thought I got it. Oh, what's happening there actually is that the first channel of the quantizer is playing in the outs of all the other outs on the quantizer. So it's playing the very first melody through all of these. So I'm going to change it. So let's see what I need to clock the delay effect, because I want it to be with the beat and maybe a multiple or a division of the beat. So we're going to go to the tempo of that from the Pamela's New Workout. I don't think I told you what that was before, but I use Pamela's New Workout for pretty much all of my clocking duty. It's got 8 outs, and I can do multiples of, I can do it 4 times a beat, I can do it 8 times a beat, I can do it 1 every 4 beats, things like that. So anyways, I clocked this. And let's try some different multiples. I kind of want that lower. See, now it's out of tune. I do this all the time. I'll be like, I want to adjust it. I'm sure I can get it in tune again, and then it's impossible. There we go. So I usually tune by ear. That's probably not the best way to do it, but I don't want to spend money on more stuff to figure out what pitch things are in. And that's pretty much, I mean, I usually add a few more things. But that's pretty much how I put together a patch. Like, I might duplicate the drum beat and then add more stuff on the second loop just to make it different. Or whatever. Usually I'll play with something and I'll delete it 12 times and then try it again. And then when I'm actually recording it down, I will play with things. So it's good to vary things over time. So I'll play with the filters. Slowly adjust some of the parameters on these things just to kind of vary it over time. I could turn the melody being played on that into a pendulum, which would lengthen the amount of kind of variation. That's pretty much how I do it. Obviously, pretty quick to throw together. A lot of the times I like to modify the tone of things with other modules, do some frequency modulation to cause the pitch to shimmer or do other things, or play with this, kind of play with the tones of things until I get it absolutely perfect, but I'm not worried about perfect right now. So anyway, if you have any questions or wonder about a module I didn't talk about, or if I forgot to mention something, feel free to ask me in the comments. And thanks for watching. Bye.